Sweet Charity is a musical with music by Cy Coleman, lyrics by Dorothy Fields and book by Neil Simon. It was directed and choreographed for Broadway by Bob Fosse, starring his wife and muse Gwen Verdon alongside John McMartin. It is based on Federico Fellini's screenplay for Nights of Cabiria. However, where Fellini's black-and-white Italian film concerns the romantic ups and downs of an ever-hopeful sex worker, in the musical, the central character is a dancer for hire at a Times Square dance hall. The musical premiered on Broadway in 1966, where it was nominated for 9 Tony Awards, and also ran in the West End as well as having revivals and international productions. The musical was adapted for the screen in 1969 with Shirley MacLaine as Charity and John McMartin recreating his Broadway role as Oscar Lindquist. Bob Fosse directed and choreographed this film. Plot: Act 1. The young woman Charity Hope Valentine is a taxi dancer at a dance hall called the Fandango Ballroom in New York City. With a shoulder bag and a heart tattooed on her left arm, Charity meets her boyfriend Charlie in Central Park. While Charlie silently preens himself, Charity speaks the pick-up lines she imagines him saying, and tells him how handsome he is. Charlie then steals her handbag and pushes her into the lake before running off. Passers-by discuss the apparent drowning but do nothing, until a young Spaniard finally rescues her. In the hostess room of the Fandango Ballroom, Charity tries to convince both herself and the other skeptical taxi dancers that Charlie tried to save her. The manager, Herman, arrives to tell them it is time for work. The hostess dancers proposition the audience in the front room of the Fandango Ballroom. Ellen and Nikki try to comfort Charity about Charlie's absence. On the street, after work, Charity gives to every beggar who approaches her until she realizes she has no money. Just then, film star Vittorio Vidal rushes out of the smart Pompeii Club, in pursuit of his beautiful mistress, Ursula. Ursula refuses to go back inside with Vittorio, who promptly takes the only too willing Charity instead. Inside the Pompeii Club, the dancers are dancing the latest craze, the rich man's fugue. To everyone's astonishment, the famous Vittorio is accompanied by the unknown Charity. She tries to steer him away from the subject of Ursula. Finally, he wants to dance. Not having eaten since breakfast, Charity faints. There is general agreement amongst the dancers that she needs to be laid down. Vittorio asks where, and Charity recovers enough to prompt Vittorio with "your apartment." Lying down on Vittorio's bed, Charity claims she is no longer hungry. She admits she is a dance hall hostess, putting it down to the fickle finger of fate. Vittorio is struck by her humor and honesty. Starstruck, Charity asks for a signed photograph to prove to the girl she was really in his apartment. While Vittorio fetches props from his old movies for further evidence, Charity remarks on her good fortune. Ursula arrives to apologize for her jealousy. Charity is swiftly bundled into a closet before Vittorio opens the door to Ursula. While Charity watches from the closet, Vittorio and Ursula make love inside his four-poster bed. The following morning, Charity is escorted from the room by a mortified Vittorio. In the hostess room, the girls are disappointed that Charity failed to get more out of Vittorio. Nikki announces she is not going to remain at this job for the rest of her life, prompting the girls to speculate on alternative careers. But Herman brings them back down to earth. Charity decides to seek some cultural enlightenment from the YMHA on 92nd Street, where she gets stuck in a broken elevator with shy tax accountant Oscar Lindquist. While trying to calm him down, Charity learns that he is not married. She declares, "Oh Oscar, you're gonna be alright." After helping Oscar overcome his claustrophobia, the pair are plunged into new panic when the lights stop working. Act 2. After being trapped in a broken elevator, Oscar and Charity are finally rescued when it starts working again. Oscar invites Charity to go to church with him, to which she hesitantly agrees. As they walk under the Manhattan Bridge to the church, the faint cries of the next person to be stuck in the elevator are heard. The Rhythm of Life Church turns out to be a thin veneer on hippie culture. A police raid breaks up the meeting. Traveling home on the subway, Oscar proposes another date and tries to guess Charity's job, deciding that she works in a bank. Charity lies, saying she works for First National City, Williamsburg branch. As they part, Oscar kisses her hand, and dubs her Sweet Charity. After 2 weeks, Oscar and Charity have continued dating, and she still has not confessed what she actually does for a living. At Coney Island amusement park, they become trapped again when the parachute jump ride breaks. This time, Oscar is the calm one while Charity is scared that she is starting to depend on him. Once again, Charity loses her nerve about telling him what her real job is. As the crowd look on, the couple kiss. On a slow night at the Fandango, Charity loses the opportunity to snare one of the few customers by a new co-worker, Rosie. Disgusted by the whole business, she quits. However, in Times Square, she wonders what the alternative is. Sending a telegram to Oscar, she asks to meet him at Barney's Chili Hacienda. She admits that she is a dance hall hostess. He admits he already knows, having followed her one night and watched her dancing. He says he does not care and wants to marry her. Relieved and elated, Charity leaves and packs a suitcase on which is printed, "Almost married." After a farewell party at the ballroom, Charity and Oscar walk in the park, whereupon Oscar announces that he cannot go through with the wedding, saying he is unable to stop thinking about the other men. Eventually, he pushes her into the lake and runs off. Emerging from the lake, Charity, speaking directly to the audience, asks, "Did you ever have one of those days?" Realizing that unlike Charlie, Oscar has not stolen her bag, she shrugs and reprises her opening dance. The stage blacks out onto 3 neon signs, reading, "And so she lived, hopefully, ever after." Musical numbers. Characters. Charity Hope Valentine, the girl who wanted to be loved. Alto. Oscar Lindquist, a man whom Charity befriends and eventually falls in love with. Baritone. Charlie, Charity's boyfriend in the opening of the show, and the name on her tattoo. Nikki and Ellen, Charity's closest friends who are taxi dancers at the Fandango Ballroom. Altos. Herman, the authoritarian owner of the Fandango Ballroom, Charity's boss. Tenor. Vittorio Vidal, a famous Italian movie star. Baritone. Tenor. Ursula March, Vittorio's girlfriend. Daddy Johann Sebastian Brubeck, the enigmatic leader of the Rhythm of Life Church. Baritone. Carmen, a dancer at the Fandango Ballroom who is friends with Nikki, Ellen, and Charity. Rosie, the new dancer at the Fandango Ballroom. Soprano. Suzanne, Frenchie, Betsy, and Elaine, dancers at the Fandango Ballroom. Productions. Original productions. After a tryout at Detroit's Fisher Theatre, the musical premiered on Broadway at the Palace Theatre on January 29, 1966 and closed on July 15, 1967, after 608 performances and 10 previews. It was conceived, directed and choreographed by Bob Fosse and starred Gwen Verdon, John McMartin, Helen Gallagher, Thelma Oliver, James Louisi, Arnold Soberloff, and Sharon Ritchie. Scenic and lighting design were by Robert Randolph and costume design was by Irene Shariff. The production was nominated for 12 Tony Awards, winning for Fosse's choreography. The musical opened in the West End at the Prince of Wales Theatre in October 1967, running for 476 performances. Juliette Prowse starred, and was succeeded by Gretchen Weiler. 1986 Broadway revival. A revival opened on Broadway at the Minskoff Theatre on April 27, 1986 and closed on March 15, 1987, running for 369 performances and 15 previews. Again directed and choreographed by Fosse, Debbie Allen starred as Charity with Bebe Neuwirth as Nikki and Michael Rupert as Oscar. Foss's wife Gwen Verdon remounted the choreography with Foss, and taught much of the ensemble numbers to the female chorus. The production won 4 Tony Awards, including the Tony Award, Best Reproduction. When Allen left the show, Anne Reinking took over as Charity. 1998 benefit concert on June 15, 1998. Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS presented an all-star fully staged one-night-only concert at Avery Fisher Hall in Lincoln Center. It starred Chita Rivera, Bebe Neuwirth, Donna McKechnie, Debbie Allen, and in her last public stage appearance, Gwen Verdon, all in the shared role of Charity. 1998 London Revival. A West End revival opened on 19 May 1998 and closed on 15 August 1998 at the Victoria Palace Theatre. Choreographed by Stephen Mear and starring Bonnie Langford. 2005 Broadway revival. Christina Applegate starred in another revival of the show, opening on Broadway at the Al Hirschfield Theatre on May 4, 2005. After a troubled 3-city preview tour, the show went into production beginning January 25, 2005 at the historic Orpheum Theatre in Minneapolis. Audience-attended previews began February 8, with the opening night performance held February 17, 2005. The Minneapolis engagement closed on February 20. Applegate broke her foot in Chicago, the second stop on the tour, and was replaced by her understudy, Charlotte Damboise. Then, after the final leg of the tour in Boston, the producers announced that the production would not be continuing to Broadway due to lack of interest. However, 2 days later, the Broadway engagement was on after Applegate convinced the producers to continue. A week into previews, Applegate rejoined the cast, which also included Dennis O'Hare and Ernie Sabella. The show was nominated for 3 Tony Awards, including Best Revival of a Musical and Best Actress in a Musical for Applegate. Reportedly, pop icon Britney Spears was asked to replace Applegate when her contract expired, but declined the offer. The musical ended its Broadway run on December 31, 2005, after 279 performances. A national tour of the 2005 Broadway revival began in September 2006 and ended in August 2007. It starred Molly Ringwald and later Paige Davis as Charity. 2009 London Revival. A revival of the show opened for a limited engagement at London's Menhir Chocolate Factory on 21 November 2009 and closed on 7 March 2010. It starred Tamsin Outhwaite as Charity. Outhwaite is reprising the title role in the West End transfer of the successful Chocolate Factory production of the show. Playing at the Theatre Royal, Haymarket, the show opened officially on 4 May 2010 after previews began on 23 April. This was the first major production to have the same actor play all 3 of Charity's love interests, Charlie, Vittorio and Oscar. Similarly, Josefina Gabrielle plays both Nikki and Ursula, while Tiffany Graves plays Ellen. The production closed at the Theatre Royal Haymarket on 6 November 2010 but transferred to run until 8 January 2011. The 2011 Olivier Award nominations were announced on Monday 7 January 2011, and this production received 3 nominations. Best Revival of a Musical, Best Theatre Choreography for Stephen Mear and Best Supporting Actress in a Musical for Josefina Gabrielle. 2011 Toronto production. The 2010 West End revival was to be played in Toronto in March and April 2011, however, it was later cancelled. 2014 Sydney and 2015 Australian tour. The show was the first production of the New Hayes Theatre Co. in Potts Point, Sydney, Australia. Directed by Dean Bryant, and choreographed by Andrew Halsworth, it starred Verity Hunt Ballard as Charity, and Martin Cruz as Charlie. Vittorio and Oscar. Verity Hunt Ballard won the 2014 Helpman Award for Best Female Actor in a Musical, while Dean Bryant and Andrew Holsworth won the Helpmans for Best Direction and Best Choreography, respectively. Martin Cruz was nominated for Best Male Actor, and Deborah Krizik was nominated for Best Supporting Female. The show was nominated for Best Musical, and Andrew Warboys and Jessica James Moody were nominated for Best Musical Direction and Best Sound Design, respectively. It also won several Sydney Theatre Awards for Best Production of a Musical, Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role in a Musical and Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role in a Musical. The critically acclaimed production transferred to Playhouse in the Sydney Opera House from 15 January 2015 to 8 February 2015. It then toured to the Canberra Theatre Centre, Arts Centre Melbourne Playhouse and the Illawarra Performing Arts Centre in Wollongong. 2015 London concert performances. In August 2015, Denise Van Outen performs the title role in concert performances of the musical at Cadogan Hall, with actor-singer Michael Xavier, ex-Girls Aloud band member Kimberly Walsh, West End star Kerry Ellis, and actors-singers Michael Simpkins and Rodney Earl Clark. Awards and nominations. Original Broadway production 1986, Broadway Revival 2005, Broadway Revival 2009, London Revival 2014, Sydney Revival recordings. There are numerous recordings of the show's score available, including 1966 original Broadway cast recording, film soundtrack recording, 1986 Broadway cast recording with Debbie Allen and Bebe Neuwirth. First complete recording of the show conducted by Martin Yates. This version includes the complete score with bonus tracks from the film's score. 2005 Broadway cast recording starring Christina Applegate and Dennis O'Hare.